All right, what's good all day, fam? I'm back. I'm making a commitment to try to do this every night, at least about 30 minutes to an hour. Let's talk about football real quick, before I call it a night. I think it'll be good to go ahead and make that part of my nightly rituals. But, because football is definitely a part of who I am, it's part of my life. It always will be. So I can always, I just need to just keep building up this channel, just keep, being consistent. So this is what we got. Tonight, for the first time ever, I am doing the I'm going to talk about college football. I've never talked about college football on this platform. Really, it's just strictly been the NFL. This platform will always be the NFL mostly, but I think that it will do more good for the content and for the branding purposes and for the the people, the fans that watches this channel. It will do well for me to start talking about college football because obviously I believe there are people out there who likes college football. I liked college football for a while. I mean, I've always watched college football when I was younger. I watched it just as much as I watched the NFL, and there was a time where I was watching when I was going really, really deep into college football. I was even watching like D2, D3 games, even games that nobody really cared about. But it just over the years, it just got boring and boring and boring to me. Like games just were not that exciting. But I think I will start back watching it this upcoming season because I believe it's going to help me to be able to be more familiar with players when they get to the league. And also, because not only is going to help with content and stuff like that, but I will like I said, when players get to the league, I'll be more familiar with how they were in college, and I can practice scouting. I can practice really evaluating, players before they get to the league. When they get to the draft, I can have more I can have more of knowledge of players entering the combine, entering the draft. Start practicing being a scout. Being a GM, who I would draft, who I wouldn't, who I would sign, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Even the coaches, because some coaches could leave college, go to the NFL. And some of these coaches I don't even know because I really wasn't even paying attention to college football at all. Like I didn't even know who Segnetti was or any of those guys. Like I just was just like, I don't care about college football. I'm just focused on NFL. And for the most part, I am going to be mainly focused mainly on the NFL, but I am going to be, talking about college football as well, so do my research on that. And yeah, I mean, hopefully, I think, hopefully the game of college football does evolve. I mean, I do like the fact that guys are getting paid, and I like what the NIL is doing because what the NIL is doing is exposing guys who can coach and who can't. And right now, I mean, I've done my research and I've looked into the game tonight. I watched like the last 10 minutes of the college football game and it was pretty entertaining. It was actually very competitive. It was good. Surprisingly, I didn't think it was going to be all that exciting to watch. So I didn't even go out of my way to watch it. Most of it. I mean, I didn't tune in until 10 minutes left into the fourth quarter, but what I saw, I was like, okay, this is the college football that I remember watching. And I don't know why it's not looking as like college football as a whole is not looking as competitive as it used to be. I don't know what's going on because when guys get into the league, the NFL hasn't lost its step. The NFL is still highly competitive. The NFL's games are still very, very entertaining. And it looks like every single year in, year out, that the NFL is just looking more and more, exciting to watch. And I mean, the NFL is the NFL. It's always going to be like that. But you would think that, I mean, these guys, they weren't played in college ball. And you would think that college football would be having that same time of it. Probably not. College football never really had the same kind of excitement as NFL, unless you're talking to a guy who's like a college football bias. Yeah, because I have talked to people, they're so biased to college football, especially people from the South, and they're just like, "Oh, college football is just it's more exciting than NFL." Guys, they play harder in college football than they do in NFL, and that's not true. That's never been the case. College players do not play harder in NFL, and college football is not. It's not harder to play college football than NFL, and the talent is not harder. So I never really understood when people will say that. To me it's just being biased because you just don't like the NFL and you just like college football. and you kind of would probably knock the NFL because they're getting paid, and college football wasn't. College players wasn't. It's if for some reason, people always have like this stigma when it comes to guys getting paid a lot of money. When people are getting paid a lot of money, people automatically in their mind, they just don't have like the intelligence to think that not everybody who's getting paid millions of dollars, I can care less about what they're actually doing. That's not the case, and it's stupid thinking, and it's kind of something that irritates me because people do deserve to get paid, and they do deserve to get paid lots of money if they are able to put themselves in a position to get paid lots of money, and there shouldn't be a cap on it. I don't care. It's who are you to get upset at other people getting paid millions, billions of dollars for whatever profession they're doing? If they're able to do that legally and not get over on people, they can do that. And just because somebody is a billionaire doesn't mean that they're getting over on somebody. So like I hate the stigma, and I hate that mentality towards people who's getting paid millions of dollars just because you haven't figured out how to done it, which you never will because of your attitude and your mentality, your psychological perspective on money. So it's whatever. Like college football players, they should get paid as much as they can. There should not be no cap on college football, on guys in college playing college football. There should be no cap on how much they get paid. They should get paid whatever they want. So y'all can hate all you want. You can take whatever, you can do whatever. But like I was one time, I was working with this guy, and he told me he thinks that he was like, oh, I think the NIL is going to backfire on college football, and I'm like, why? And he goes, because just like somebody winning the lottery, what they do, they end up losing money. And I'm like, okay, well, who cares? Like if those people lose money, if those players loses money, that's on them. That's not on the entire ecosystem of college football. That's on that person single-handedly. So I mean, that's not going to backfire the NIL. It's just like anybody. If they make money and they blow it all out the water, like, okay, whatever. That's on that person. That shouldn't backfire on people getting paid, though. Like, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. But anyway, I mean, Indiana, they beat Miami. There was a time where I thought Miami was going to close out the game, but they didn't. They that they was going to win, and they didn't. Indiana came through, and we got to talk about the coach. I mean, and this quarterback right here. I didn't. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know who either one of these. Well, I knew who the coach was. I knew that he coached under Nick Saban and stuff, but I didn't really know who this quarterback was. So this quarterback, he won the Heisman. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza ran for a touchdown. Yeah, so he. I don't know how talented this quarterback is, even though he did win a Heisman, but I do know that this season, it hasn't really been college football hasn't really been all that exciting. I mean, it hasn't really. I already said that. I'm talking about players. It hasn't really like there isn't really that much talent coming out of college football this year. So, I mean, into the draft, I don't really know what players are going to be really game breaking, game changing players. I mean, this past draft wasn't even all that. So, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like some of these guys are not even going to the draft. Like some of these drafts are looking weak. Like this was not a talented draft this year. And it was the same thing as last year. And next year, I think next year, 2027, the draft will be a little bit better. I think you got Jeremiah Smith coming out and some other guys. So I think next year's draft is going to be pretty good. So I'm definitely going to, and that'll be good too, because that's when I'm going to start back watching college football and evaluating players and looking at what players are good, what players are not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But let me see. But yeah, I think the Indiana Hoosiers held off a tough Miami team to capture the school's first ever national championship, being the Hurricanes 27-21 on Monday night. The Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza in the passing game held relatively in check. The Hoosiers leaned on a good running game, sturdy defense, and a blocked punt return for a touchdown in the victory. The three takeaways from the game with an eye on the 2026 NFL draft. So it'll be the 2026 NFL draft will be in April 23rd, 25th in Pittsburgh. Mendoza's toughness on display after a preview. So remember, I think it's obvious that Mendoza, he's a pretty tough quarterback. He's a ride or die type of quarterback. It's a quarterback that's going to put his own team on his back and really look like he can really go out and make some plays. Now the Raiders, staff was out there. You had the owner Mike Davis, general manager John Spiked, and the minority owner Tom Brady. They were on the sidelines for the game, and so it's going to be kind of interesting what they're going to do, what their decisions are going to do in the first pick of the NFL draft. Because hey, could they draft Mendoza? Now, I don't really know if Mendoza is as talented as a quarterback to be picked as a number one pick in the NFL draft. But with that being said, I mean, this isn't a talented draft. So who is he getting? I mean, who are the Patriots? Not the Patriots, but who is the Raiders going to choose over him? So I mean, I think that New England. I'm not New England. I'm thinking about Tom Brady. I'm thinking about the Raiders. The fact that they need a quarterback, but they need a lot of things. I mean, if Mendoza can give you stability at the quarterback position and you can build around him, I don't see that being a bad draft pick. But I will say also, if you got a guy on the draft board who's a better player than Mendoza, pick that guy. And then I guess you can afford to have another bad year because that one guy is not going to make your roster better. I mean, well, that one guy is not going to bring you to the playoffs and make you a Super Bowl winning team, but it could be another piece added to another great player, possibly great player added to your team, added to your roster. You got Crosby, you got Genty, you got Brock Bowers, and then you can add, you got Jackson Power, you got Jackson, what's his name? Power Smith. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was out for the rest of the year, but I think he was pretty good early on in the season when he first started playing. So you got guys. And then if you can get probably another, you can pick the best player in the draft, might as well. And then you can stack it up to your team, and then you can prepare that team, and then you go deep into the free agency, and then you can go next year, you can draft a top quarterback, because I think next year has elite quarterback play next year. So you can do that if you're the Raiders. I mean, let's see the top. I'm gonna Google top NFL quarterback prospects of the 2027 draft. Let me see. So that will be good for the Raiders if the Raiders could do that. And if I was a GM, that's what I would probably do. Now, Mendoza, he does look the type of guy that can, like I said, he does look like a ride or die type of quarterback. He looks like a very, very tough quarterback. He's big. He's 6'5", 2 something. He has a very high floor. He doesn't like he's have a high ceiling. So, but he does look like the type of quarterback. He won't turn the ball over. He's never going to do that. He looks like he's just like your perfect average quarterback. So if that's what Tom Brady and the staff is okay with, then they can do that. They can get him, and then they can, get him a good offensive line, get him some good receivers, and then, go on from that, and you could probably win a Super Bowl with him if you build a good team around him. But a quarterback like that, you gotta keep building. You gotta build a team around him. He's not gonna be like a Josh Allen, a Cam Newton, Justin Herbert type of quarterback. He's not gonna be that type of guy. So he will give you stability. I mean, he'll be better than Geno Smith. So now I think if you do that, no, period, you got to get you got to get a good offensive coach out there. You got to get a good head coach, or at least a really, really great head coach that your Raiders needs to do. I'm just trying to look at the reason of why, if I were the GM, why I would draft Mendoza over the best player in all of college football, especially if you got quarterbacks coming out next year. So I like the guy. I haven't really seen him play at all this college year. But it does seem that he won a Heisman, but he won a Heisman where there wasn't really all that talent this year. And quarterback Heisman is almost like an MVP. Like they're just going to give it to the quarterback almost always. But if I were the GM for the Raiders, now I'm going to put my GM hat on, because I do wish to be a GM owner one day. If I was a GM for the Raiders, I would skip out on Mendoza and I would just get the best player in the draft. That's what I would do. And next year, eyeing quarterbacks for next year, I think the quarterbacks next year are going to be really, really good, elite. So why not look into that? So you got Elijah Haven, Israel. Wait, hold on. No, these are coming out of college. I mean, high school. Hold on. Let me. No. I'm trying to look into college. That's interesting. Elijah Haven, number one recruit, is going to Alabama. It's like from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It'll be interesting to see what he's gonna do. Let's see. Oh wait, this is better. You got. Oh yeah, I heard about this guy Dante Morgan or Dante Moore coming out of Oregon, and then you got Arch Manning coming out of Texas, and you got Sam Levitt out of LSU. And then you got Josh Hoover. So has taken Kurt's move from the MAC in the NFL draft, and now has Mendoza as a new favorite as a number one to be the number one overall pick. Josh Hoover landing in Bloomington certainly puts him in competition to being a top quarterback in the 2027 draft class. For now, he's a number four prospect, but don't be surprised if he finishes higher after the season ends. He has all the tools he needs if he could cut down on the turnovers and be a bit more efficient. So look out for him at Indiana. Then you got he's a number he's right now he's like at number four. So then you got Brendan Sorsby out of Texas Tech. So and then you got Julian Sayin out of Ohio State, number six. Then you got Lenoris Sellers out of South Carolina. And then you got I know him. See, I coach he plays at USC. So he was pretty good this year. Jaden Wauva could very well be due for a breakout 2026 season. He has some of the good moments as a Trojan starter this year, but wasn't quite in that elite tier quarterback you would expect from Lincoln Riley. More than needing to finally take USC to the college football playoff, Riley needs to develop, I guess he pronounces Maiva, into a more well-rounded quarterback prospect. He turned Caleb Williams, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, and Kyler Murray into top picks. Maiva is his next project. So hopefully he can get him good. But he's kind of been disappointing. He's been underwhelming. Nico Lamaleva, I guess how you pronounce his name, Leva, out of UCLA, number 9. And then you got DJ Lagway playing for Baylor. And that's it. So those are the top 10 quarterbacks. So, I mean, with these top 10 quarterbacks going into the next year's draft, I mean, especially with Dante Moore being the number one pick next year, I know it's been a lot of talk about him. Without a doubt, Moore becomes the top quarterback in the 2027 NFL draft class as things stand. He was the projected number 2 pick next April and was in the race for the Heisman Trophy at one point this year. Moore will enter next season with sky-high expectations, and anything less than a Heisman will be a letdown. I'm sure he's eyeing a national championship as well. So yeah. So he's looking to be really good coming into this season. So he better. So we'll see. We'll see. So I mean, if I was the owner of the Raiders or the GM of the Raiders, I'll just be like, okay, let's get the best player this year, and let's, if we really, really suck, we're going to be picking again next year. We can get Dante Moore. And we got Dante Moore, we got Brock Bowers, and then we got Ashton Jeanty going to his third season, and whoever they choose to draft this year. Like maybe I can look and see who's the top draft picks for this class. Let's see who the top NFL draft picks. Yeah, that could be good for me to start that right now anyway, because I'm looking to, I look into the draft and I cover the draft. Let's see, NFL top. Let's see, not mock draft, but top college players going to. Let's see. I like looking top 10 players, top college 10. All right. So, according to ESPN, you get, let's see.
The $4.99 double cheeseburger meal at Burger King. It's the double cheeseburger you fell in love with, or the one you're about to. A quarter pound of beef patties, flame grilled with 2 slices of melty cheese, plus fries and a drink for just $4.99.
Okay, so Dante Moore announced that he's returning back. He's going back to college. I mean, he's going back to
What
Oregon
he decided about your future.
for another season. All right.
Yeah,
so
of course. First things first, I have to give glory to God for, of course, letting me be on this platform I am, the blessings He's given me. Yeah, this past year was a year that I remember for the rest of my life. Just my teammates, the adversity we went through, and just the way to be able to, as a kid, to play in the semifinals. And of course, the year didn't end the way you wanted to end. And of course, got to give your kudos and credit to Indiana. But yeah, with this decision, mainly all my life, it's kind of just been, being as most prepared as I can for any situation I go into. And when it comes to me just making my decision, of course, I want to feel most prepared and,
2 seasons at Cal.
This is best for my situation, especially as a quarterback. And with my decision, it's been very tough. I prayed a lot about it, talked to many people, my mentors, and people I just look up to. With that being said, of course, I'll be coming back to Oregon for one more year and being able to play for the Oregon Ducks and, of course, reach our goal and be national champions.
Okay, so you mentioned the fact, obviously, that you guys lost to Indiana in the semis. You kept using the word preparation, being prepared for your next step. What went into this decision?
Yeah, ever since my freshman year at UCLA, that was a year that, of course, made me think of football as something that, every day you have to get prepared for. And with this moment, last year I was with Dylan Gabriel. I was behind him. I learned from him. He was a veteran quarterback. Of course, that was in college football. And even this year, I had, many great throws, many great plays. But at the end of the day, I feel like I can still learn so much more. And of course, as a kid, that's just 4 years old, and I've dreamed about being in the NFL. But of course, this team, we've been through a lot, and a lot of people are returning. So I feel like we got, exciting things coming this year, and I'm excited to, keep pushing my team.
Okay, I like that you said a lot of you guys are returning. What early conversations have you and your guys had about climbing the mountaintop to a title next season?
Yeah, a lot of times these conversations, everybody kept asking me what am I doing, and it's hard for me to tell them personally. But since I announced it, they know that when it comes to me coming back, that I'm gonna push them. They're gonna push me. Of course, when it comes to just O-linemen, running backs, the defense side of the ball, just everybody. We have young talent. This team was very young this year, and through this season, we had a lot of adversity, and we faced a lot. But with this year, it helps us lead into next year. So I'm excited for this team.
I'm curious because obviously you mentioned how your season did not end the way you wanted. How close were you to trying to make the next step and go into the NFL?
For the way he just
it was very tough. I mean, like I said, since a 4-year-old, I dreamed about playing in the NFL, and of course. The NFL is something that the professionals play at, and I feel like I could have been excited going into there and wherever I got drafted, being blessed to be where I am. But I kind of feel like coming back is the best thing for me to make sure that when that day does happen, that I'm full prepared. I'm able to go and play my best ball.
6'6", 315, and he's a mauler like that. That'd be a perfect fit for the
The
Chargers.
problem with California right now is people can't afford to live in California. The number one reason is really the cost of
David
housing.
Bailey.
We're going to launch the largest drive for homes that you can afford in California history. We are going to build a million new homes. Do we need to cut permit prices? Absolutely. That's how you drive down costs. And I'm going to stop Wall Street from buying up middle-class homes and make California affordable and livable for families again. I'm Tom
His football knowledge shows in his play. It's obvious when you watched him in the Ohio State defense. But what really
and Spencer Knight has been patient, calm,
and the 2023 freshman
and in control of his posts.
He played under Nick Saban. So
Sandberg doesn't have a goal this season.
He
You wouldn't know by that
played
much.
under Nick Saban.
Dickinson, what a shot! As he took that puck out of the air and ripped it home. And the Hawks make it 1-0.
That allows him to play best in the straight line. Yes.
Donovan Taves, a D-zone face-off. Good win by Dickinson. Classic, a quick pass there to Donato, and now a little hoister up over everybody. It takes a little bit of a bounce, but great hand-eye coordination by Dickinson. Because this puck was bobbling. I thought he might have needed a lacrosse stick right about there, but he swats out of midair. It's on end, and he just right towards the corner. Taves able to get it. Rockrock comes in front. Pinball's over, and it's wide. Empty net at the other end. Bloxing cleans it up. Here's McCann. Over to Connor Bedard. Scores!
Okay.
Minute 20 to go, and Bedard makes it 2-0.
51 catches, 825 receiving yards, 9 receiving touchdowns. And all that. He out to deep, tight end.
He had every right and every business. He could have fired that into the net.
51 catches, 560 receiving yards, 8 receiving touchdowns. We got Jordan Tyson, our receiver out of Arizona, 6'2", 200.
With investing options from Navy Federal Credit Union, Rob feels financially at ease, which means he can worry about other things like landing this fish. What if the fish is really big? What if it's not a fish? What if it's treasure? What if the treasure is cursed? Rob has a lot of things to worry about, but as a member of Navy Federal, his finances aren't one of them. Become a member today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
79 catches.
Hughes has it. Goes to the corner. Kaprizov. Hartman centers. Scores! How good was that?
Top, so he's number 11 player in the draft.
Feels different around the town, but when you walk into the buildings, it's amazing. Here's Hartman out front, and he scores! What? Right through the blue on the rebound. Tavares eighth among all active players in career scoring.
Jordan Tyson was good too. He got injured.
In the slot, Tavares scores!
But he still got 61 catches.
Urov wins the draw against Lott.
Touchdown.
Favor a shot. They score! Tipped by Foligno! Hughes comes back in his own zone for the Wild. He connects with Tarasenko. Tarasenko scores!
Okay, that's why
keeps it alive for Minnesota. Foligno to Urov. Now to Faber. Faber shot. He scores!
Doug Bentley, he was a small guy. They played him in the power play. They used to keep him in the dressing room with a blanket on.
Gustafson here with a pad save. Rebound, they score. Riley got a piece of it. Jones comes out of the corner. Sturm had it deflect off the skate. Matthews in alone. Matthews against Gustafson.
I was the Raiders.
And this will do it in Toronto. The Wild dominate the Leafs and snap Toronto's 7-game home win streak.
I mean, you don't. You could do a 1-2 punch with Jeremiah Love and Ashton Genty.
Dude, this new Crispy Pro, unbelievable.
Running back.
What about that one?
Oh, man, that one. I've never been one to settle. Look at this Ninja Crispy Pro. It's got glass. It's like front row seats at mealtime. Food is ready, faster, and crispier. I can do more. I can see more than my air fryer ever could before. That's what top performance looks like. Oh, it's perfect.
Their defense.
Retirement's not that bad. I've done it too.
Their defense was terrible.
Parker Kelly out for Dale McCarr. Spinning, shooting, scores! Parker Kelly with the redirection. Even Frank, who's gotten the elevated role in Wilson's absence, plays it for Strom, but now it's Chikrin. His shot scores! Jacob Chikrin, his 18th of the season.
Oh, he got
on the ice. Here he goes. McKinnon Steph shoots, scores!
I didn't watch.
Sometimes all you need is Nathan McKinnon.
Jeremiah Love is really that
guy. Cover up for a mistake once again gets back.
What I really think. If he's
Face
really
off
that
win
guy,
for Colorado. Manson's try. Rebound scores!
that's really that convincing. That'll be a dangerous thing.
Ovechkin to the front. McKinnon scores!
Great play from behind the net.
I'm going up.
Nelson loses the puck. There's Ovechkin and no coverage.
We saw a penalty called on earlier back in the first period that led to a Chikrin power play goal. Here's a steal from McKinnon and a chance for Luke. He scores! Game of our doubleheader.
We'll see if Charlie Lindgren heads to the bench here soon if the Capitals get possession.
Turnover and a goal!
Anyway, and also, I was talking to my brother. I was like, oh, the Raiders should go after Sig and go after Mendoza. If that was the case, then I would have gotten it because, they're familiar and you saw Sig, he got the best out of him. But I'd say but Mendoza, because Sig is going back. But we have to talk about the fact that Sig, he is the. I mean, he had the greatest season of a college coach in any sports. I mean, for you to go to Indiana, trash program for your second year, coaching college football, and then also have no 5-star recruit on your team at all, and then have Mendoza, who's not like this great, transcendent, once generational quarterback, and on top of that, for you to, so being your second year, and also my case is it is extremely hard to win games in college football now in this era because of the NIL. It makes it much more. It makes the playing field much more even now. And so that's what I was saying earlier. Like you have to be able to know how to coach and coach college football. You're going to be exposed. That's why Nick Saban won it. I think it was a great coach. I think he was a great person. I almost played for Alabama one time. When I was trying to walk out of University of Alabama when I went to school. But that is why Nick Saban left Alabama. And because the NIL, it has made it level playing field now, and everybody, you gotta know how to coach. And if that's the thing with Deion Sanders, the NIL is affecting him, and he's not really looking all that good. But Deion has a lot of excuses because Deion, he was sick, and stuff. And I think for what it's worth, for Deion, and him not having that much experience like most of these guys, learning under somebody, I think that Deion Sanders is doing a good job, doing okay with Colorado. But we're not talking about Deion Sanders. We're talking about Signetti. Given all that adversity that Signetti had to overcome and deal with, he's the greatest coach of all time. Because again, he's dealing with the NIL, dealing with transfer portal, and he had no 5-star recruits. He's at Indiana, and you know what I'm saying? Indiana, like, who cares about Indiana? And you win a national championship, your second year coaching, you're the best coach ever. Nobody has ever done that. And that's in sports, like sports history. Who has done that? So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do this year. He's coming back. So I'll be crazy if he turns that program into a powerhouse. It will be crazy if he does that. Bill Belichick couldn't even do that in North Carolina. Look at Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's in North Carolina. So, yeah, he's the greatest coach ever. He's the greatest coach ever. Yeah, there's no argument about it. Yeah, after one season, so what? Who cares? So, yeah, man. So we kind of, I guess that's it enough for that. But moving on into NFL. Let's see. So today, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Let's look through like the NFL news because I think Sean McDermott, he got fired today. First off, look at the NFL, the 2026 NFL playoff pictures so far. We can talk about Sean McDermott in a minute, but let's look at the playoff picture. So we already talked about most of these games, pretty much all these games. Just want to do a little review. 4 teams left. You got New England, Denver, Miami, the Rams, Seattle. So who's going to the Super Bowl? I think it's safe to say this is crazy, man. New England, they're back at it. Mike Vrabel brought them all the way back. I don't see Denver beating New England. I just really don't. It will be interesting to see what Sean Payton's going to do with that. Sean Payton is supposed to scheme up some stuff, try to overcome New England. You know what? The hell with it. I'm going to say the Broncos going to beat New England. I'm going to say Broncos going to beat them. I know nobody wants to see Stickman in the Super Bowl. I don't want to see it. But for some reason, I think that's hard, man. This is hard to see. No, it'd be disrespectful for me to say that the Broncos are going to beat New England. New England's defense has just been so dominant. They destroyed. I mean, they kept Justin Herbert mid. They destroyed. They made C.J. Stroud. He was the highest score quarterback. What do you think they're going to do with it now? But given that they did face 2 quarterbacks. Oh yeah, and in Buffalo, they no, they didn't play C.J. Stroud. My bad. It was Texas. Played who Texas played. Yeah, it was Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo, not C.J. Stroud. So they made no. I'm tripping. Hold on. New England, they beat the Chargers. They beat the it wasn't the Texans. It just beat last week. Yeah, okay, it was the Texans. I'm tripping. I don't know why I was thinking New England played against the Bills, but yeah, it was the Broncos that beat the Bills. Yeah. So New England, like I said, they made Justin Herbert look mid, and they made C.J. Stroud look like trash that the Patriots did. And so I'm thinking like, why should that be any difference when they played the Broncos? The difference is that they're playing the worst quarterback in the entire playoffs when they're playing the Broncos. But the thing is that you're going against the best offensive coordinator that they've seen all year in Sean Payton. That's the difference. And that can make a difference maker. That could be a reason why the Broncos beat New England. I think New England offense has been very bad this year, this postseason. I think I think Drake May hasn't been playing all that well at all these playoffs. Now he has made plays that overcame some of those issues that he's been doing, but Drake May has been turning the ball over a lot. In Denver Broncos, now their defense has been kind of falling off a little bit lately, but they have an opportunity to defense, and their defense can click in and with those turnovers, those turnovers that Drake May has been costing, that's not going to happen with. That's going to come back and bite them in the butt when you're playing with the Broncos. So this is going to be a very good game. I think this game is going to be like decided like no more than 3 points. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game by any sort of imagination. But this game can go either way. That's why I'm stuck. Like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard show because I'm trying to figure out who can play, who can win this game because neither offenses are good, and the Patriots do have a really good running game. Now, if the Patriots are to win this game, they're going to have to win the running game. For some reason, like my heart is going with the Broncos. But I do like New England's defense. I think New England's defense is really, really good. But the Broncos, they don't really have a running back that I feel like they will be. They don't really have any scary wide receivers. I'm just gonna go with the Patriots. I'm gonna say the Patriots are gonna win this game. The Patriots are gonna win this game. I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos win. I'm not gonna say the Broncos win this game. I'm gonna go with New England. If Bo Nix is playing, then I would have chose the Broncos. But Bo Nix isn't playing. I got New England. And then if Bo Nix's statement is not that much of a lyric, I don't think Bo Nix is all that good, but he's the starting quarterback and he's more familiar with Sean Payton, and he's mobile. So I would have felt more comfortable picking the Broncos if Bo Nix was playing. But I'm gonna go with New England. I'm gonna say New England's gonna win this game. And, I'm sorry, guys. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Okay. All right, man. All right, I'm gonna say New England. Let's see. I already know Seattle. I already got Seattle going. But this can't go either way. That's why I'm thinking so hard. Because it's like it can go either way. New England will win anything. I wouldn't be surprised if they win. I'm just gonna go with New England. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a Super Bowl rematch between New England and Seattle. And Seattle's gonna beat New England. That's gonna be the case. Seattle's gonna win it all anyway. So that's what I got. Seattle, so New England, Seattle. But I wouldn't be surprised if Denver does. I wouldn't be surprised because I haven't really been on that impressed with the Patriots. I think the Patriots have just been getting away with bad plays by the Texans and by the Chargers, to be honest with you. But I just think like the Texans and the Chargers offenses have just been so garbage. Like New England could have lost the Texans, but they didn't, because a lot of things. CJ Stroud playing like trash and the Texans defense giving up on some of New England. I mean, on some like allowing the team to drive them, allowing that offense to drive up and down the field, allowing them to let them drive up and down like 4 times before. And so I don't really have nothing to do with that. You got hold on, go through these things real quick. You got the tight end hiring Robert Saleh. I don't really know. I don't really know what I think about that. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like it. To be honest with you, I feel like the tight end should have got an offensive-minded coach for Cam Ward. But this is the Titans we're talking about. Titans, they always do stuff. They always their management is not good. I feel bad for Cam Ward. It's not. I don't think that's going to play out well. I really don't. I like Robert Saleh. He's a good coach, but he's not the type of coach for a young quarterback. Robert Saleh would have been good somewhere like in Baltimore or something, or probably even like in Buffalo with like quarterbacks who knows what they're doing, not with a quarterback who doesn't know what he's doing. He's young, just trying to figure it out. That's just not good for Cam Ward. We got the Dolphins hiring Jeff Haley as a head coach. So that'll be kind of interesting, Jeff Haley. So yeah, I'll be interested in that. I know he was with Green Bay. He also coached at Pitt. So it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do there. And you guys already know John Harbaugh signing with the Giants. So John signing with the Giants in this game. I don't really know how I feel about John Harbaugh signing with the Giants. Yeah. Like I don't really think that. I don't really. I don't know, man. I think John Harbaugh is really overrated. Really good. All right, and that's all the news for today. I mean, talking about playoffs, the championship. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. Even though like Broncos don't really have a quarterback, they're gonna be really exciting to see. Yeah, so in the NFL season for 2026 is already shaping up to look really historic again, you know. So and I'm looking forward to see what kind of players in the draft class, what they're gonna do coming into this year. Even though, because like last year's draft class wasn't even all that exciting, but we did have some rookies that were pretty good this year. So this year, I think it's going to be the same. Even though college football season was underwhelming, but something about the NFL, man. Something about how competitive the NFL is. The coaching is better, the training is better. Like, everything is just better when you get to the NFL. These guys quickly grow fast. So I'll be back tomorrow night. Talk a little bit. I won't be on here as tomorrow night. Probably like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm not just getting out of class around 2 o'clock, so I'm not going to be on too long. But if there's any news to talk about, I'll look into it. Chop it up. I'm gonna get in the habit of just coming on here, every night. So, all right. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back very soon.